If you're looking to buy or sell a home in Wilton, New York this year in 2026, then you're not going to want to miss this video because we're going to be going over the February numbers, which are foreshadowing what's to come here in the spring. And there's some interesting stuff, information that is coming out right now in the real estate market that you're going to want to know if you're going to be buying or selling this year. So let's go through. We're just going to straight up hit the numbers here. My name is Chris McMahon. I'm with eXp Realty, local real estate agent right here in the Wilton area. And we're going to go through and we're going to cover what we got here for Wilton, New York. So the first thing that you're going to want to know is sellers are really kind of firmly in control from what we're seeing right now. There was 108.1% sales to list ratio last month. There was only 6 active listings right now at the time of this recording. But there isn't a lot of action as far as buyers are right now, but that's starting to show a little bit of a change. We're starting to see some things as we close to this warmer weather kind of wake up a little bit in the market. Right now, we're just over 2 months for the absorption rate. We have 3 homes sold in the month of February, which is totaled a little over $2 million that we've seen there. And Redfin right now is saying we got a competitive score of 87 out of 100. What that is classified as very competitive in this area. So the bottom line here, that if your home is priced right and presented well for sellers here, it looks like you're going to expect multiple offers and a premium sales price when you're doing that, which is kind of shown by that 108.1% over their asking price right there. That's what we're seeing. So now come over here, February 26th. This is an MLS snapshot, just kind of what we've taken here. Active listings, not much of a change. Down 1. It was 6 this year, 7 in February 2025. So we got our comparisons. New listings down 1. Solds were down 1. So it's fairly close to not real high numbers, which is why I see a huge percent change right here. But the average sales price actually is what you really kind of want to look at here. There actually is a pretty big difference. Right now, it's 674,000 was the average sales price in February, where last year was 546. So that's over $100,000 more this year than we saw last year. Days on the market, roughly the same, about 3 weeks as far as the days on the market. And the absorption rate is just a touch lower at 2.06 months, where it was 2.2 months last year in February. So inventory has dried up. Is that the story? Well, let's kind of see what we got here. So new listings, yes, down 33%. Only 2 new listings in February. I don't know if I'd really say it's dried up because we had 2 this year. There was 3 last year. It's down 33%, but we're not talking really high numbers here. But year to date, new listings, we've had 5 new listings year to date, and that's 28%, 28.6% below the 7 we had last year. Again, not really high numbers, so roughly about what we were seeing, but it is looking down. But there are 0 listings below 500,000 on all of the active listings that are out there right now in Wilton. None of them are below the 500,000 rate. So that's good news for our sellers out there. If you're sitting on the market kind of wondering what your house might be worth, reach out and get a hold of me. I can do a home evaluation for you, walk through the home property for you, let you know what that home might be worth, and even give you some updates, some ideas of what to do, that you can make some small, easy, cost-effective changes so that you get the most for your dollar, most for your home, and sell it fast. We're doing in there. So what we're seeing here, though, a little bit is the lock-in effect. Okay, now this is a real thing. So homeowners, 3-4% mortgages are reluctant to sell right now. So we saw that a few years ago when those mortgage rates got really, really low and everybody refinanced or rushed out to buy a home. But as those rates are improving, some of those people are looking to move up or even downsize. So some of those things maybe come through, and rates are improving. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here. So, but what does that mean for buyers right now? Fewer choices and faster decisions, and willingness to pay above asking are on the tables here in this environment that we're seeing. So, but let's see here. Okay, so we talked about the 108%. 44.4% of Wilton homes sold above the asking price. That's up 11% from last year. We talked about 108%. Right down here, we got 3 weeks. The ratio, the median right now is 33 days on the market, which is down dramatically from 113 in January 2025. So key message here is overpricing is still a risk. You don't want to overprice your home if you're selling it right here, okay? Properly price the home, Make sure you're staging it. Make sure you're taking professional photos on it right there and making it ready and presentable for people to do that. Also, you want someone who's going to go out there and going to go the extra mile, a video tour of the property, those type of things, a single page website with just your home, marketing it that way, a social media campaign that lets people know and gets a lot of eyes on it. Those are all important things for sellers right now. That's just to name a few things. Let's move this right over here. So the average sales price year to date is up 10% at 601,000. The absorption rate, a little over 2%. We talked about that. The average list price is 616,000. Okay, so average sales are up that 10% there. We had 5 homes sold right there. So the year-to-date picture reinforces that while list prices have moderated slightly, actual sale prices are rising. Okay, so this is hallmark of a healthy market for sellers right now. So mortgage rates, they just hit a 3.5-year low. Okay, so I hinted on this a little bit earlier here. We have not seen mortgage rates below 6% since, I believe, like 2022. So that's almost 4 years ago. We just dipped below, just recently, 6% with a 30-year fixed mortgage at 5.98%. All right, that's the first time we've seen that in quite a while. So what does that mean right now? That means some of those people that I mentioned earlier that are kind of sitting on those mortgages at 3 to 5% or 3 to 4% mortgages here, maybe starting to say, okay, they're getting more, rates are getting a little bit lower. Maybe it's worth cashing in on the equity and, buy a bigger home for our family or downsize because we don't need it because, the kids are off in college or have moved on. And so you don't need such a big space to take care of or anything like that. So that is starting to become a thing. That's what we're looking at very closely here as these interest rates drop. So 1 year ago, it was at 6.75%. Okay. Now we're down to just below 6%. So it's dropped 0.75% in a year. And that trend is expected to continue to keep coming down as we go through the year here. So that's, like I said, something we are paying very close attention to as to what is going on with those interest rates. So right now we're seeing that trend coming down and expected to continue to fall as we do that. So what does this mean here is that as that drops, I mentioned more qualified buyers are going to be coming into the market. It is thin with inventory right now, but hopefully some of those people in those markets are going to put those homes for sale too. So hopefully that maybe evens things out a little bit, but we are expecting, at least initially, to be a fairly competitive spring this year for homes right there. So if you are buying a home, it's good to get a plan together, get yourself pre-approved, pre-qualified, get yourself a marketing plan and everything set for you to kind of dive in there and be ready to act when you find the home that you really want to move into or you put an offer in on now. So Saratoga Springs buyers are being pushed towards Wilton. Why is that? Let's talk about that for a little bit here. People love Saratoga. They want to be in that area. It's the highest price point in the capital region right now that we're seeing. Okay, medium segment in segments, the medium sales price is $895,000. Much of Saratoga Springs at over $1 million to purchase. So what is that saying? That a lot of people are getting pushed out of Saratoga and looking for outlying areas to move into. Wilton is one of those spots with a medium list price of $670,000. That's down almost over $200,000 compared to Saratoga Springs. Okay, the speed of sale, properties aren't sitting as long in Wilton. They're sitting about 3 weeks, whereas Saratoga, they're 41 days. A lot of that has to do with price. And when you get higher up on that price thing, you tend to have a little bit smaller of a buying pool. Okay, not everybody has $1 million budget. So it's a smaller number of people looking in that space right there. But Saratoga median price has jumped 9.6% year over year. Okay, so anyway, we're calling that shift into Wilton. That's the spillover effect. So people want to be in Saratoga. Wilton is a great second choice. So it's the spillover effect where they're getting a more affordable house right in the Saratoga area, very close to downtown. Wilton is also part of the Saratoga Springs school district. At least most of Wilton is part of it. So something to kind of keep an eye on. So that's a competitive advantage for Wilton right now, is to have that spillover effect coming in there for some more buyers to compete for your homes as far as sellers. So Wilton is outperforming the state and national trends. Okay, the median sales price in New York State is $445 right now, which is up. That's up a little over 7%. National inventory highest since 2020. So we're seeing quite a few. So like almost half of the largest U.S. metro areas have returned to that pre-pandemic norms that we saw back in late 2010s, 2017, 2018, even 2019. But the capital region has not. It has not come back to those norms at this point right now. So national home prices have gone up 1.3% in 2025, whereas we've seen Wilton jump 23.4% in that same time right there. So you're seeing the home values are jumping in Wilton, and a lot of it is because of that spillover effect that we just talked about a little bit. So people want to be in this area, more affordable. They're getting people kind of coming over in there, and that's one of the reasons why we're seeing that high, list to sales ratio and everything like that. So, what is the industry saying? Let's go back here. What is the industry saying here? Some of the headlines here, all right, is inventory in the market is coming back. Housing market is splinters. National price slows to 1.3%. As we saw, Wilton is above that. Okay, 1.3% is a national. Home value is projected to grow in 2026. Rising prices in Saratoga equal demand for Wilton home buyers, and we're also seeing that those interest rates come down as well. So that's some of the things that we are seeing there. So the 12-month trend, we'll go over this really quickly. As you can see, the median sales price is at $500,000, which has kind of come down a little bit. It came up a little bit since January 2026. It's a little bit lower than we're seeing in some of these other areas, but with not a ton of houses selling, it really takes one house either sold low or high to really make that median sales price fluctuate a little bit. But one of the things that we see over here is all these are in green, meaning the sales to list ratio are over 100%, with the exception of January of 2026, where it dipped to 99.3%. Days on the market at about 3 weeks, which is a little bit higher than what we've seen these past months, has dipped a little bit since January, which was pushing about 4 weeks in January. The 2026 outlook, okay, this is our spring outlook. So demand driver, mortgage rates, we're talking about that. Those mortgage rates come down, it's going to drive demand. Buyers are going to come out in the market. So supply constrained, it's low right now. So, but maybe that interest rates coming down will push some of those people to come out and put their houses on the market as well. So the price trajectory is that it is expected to go upwards. And so obviously we've also got that seasonal pattern that comes in this time of year. We're just starting to get to the start of that yearly selling season where a lot of the buyers come out on the market here. We had a beautiful week, about a week or so ago, had a couple 70-degree days there. It's cooled off a little bit now, but I suspect next time when that comes around, you're going to start seeing a number of houses pop up in the market, which is going to be within the next couple weeks here, even less than that probably. So buyers, now is a time for you to get yourself prepared and ready to get a plan together for you to purchase your next home here, especially in Wilton. So inventory, we're at 6 active listings. We talked about the sales to list ratio at 108. We're about 3 weeks on the market. Rates just dipped below that 6% mark. We got that spillover effect of people coming into Wilton, and the spring forecast is that we're expecting to see a competitive market in the Wilton area. All things to keep in mind what we're doing here. Okay, so ready to list. Reach out and get a hold of me. I will come over here. I will do an evaluation of your home, let you know what you can probably get for it on the market, as well as give you some ideas of how you can improve the home, make some small fixes, changes, so you get the most bang for your buck, or so you get the most for your house when you put it out there in the market. Now, buyers, same thing. You need to get a plan in place. You need to get yourself pre-approved. Okay, you have to have an area list of needs and wants. There's some steps that you need to take before you start going to look at the home. Reach out to me. I can help you put that plan together and help you get yourself set up there so you are strategically placed to put offers into homes when this competitive market comes in here for Wilton right here. So if you want this full report, my contact information is below. Just message me. I will email you out and get you this report in full so you can take a look at what's going on in there. If not, subscribe to the channel if you found some value on this right here. My name is Chris McMahon. I'm a local real estate agent right here in the Wilton area. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.